PGN's on the course this time for a game improvement story. I'm with Craig Clawson talking single length irons. Appropriately, Craig, Bryson DeChambeau has taken the PGA Tour by storm. He's the guy that people think about when they think about single length irons, but obviously you've bought into it completely with your single length school. You have YouTube primarily, but you also are on social media. You believe in it for any ability level.
Yeah, I think it's perfect for everybody, especially guys that are starting the game. I think it's a great way to start the game. But even for some guys like yourself, you got to test them, you know, lower handicaps can really improve their game. And more than anything, it's all about confidence. And what I say when I'm teaching somebody new or talking to somebody new online is basically you have 14 different swings in your bag.
Yeah.
Because you've got all your different length irons, and so you've got to master 14 swings to get really good. I've got 5 swings because all my irons are the same length. So it really minimizes the need to master a lot of things. And all of a sudden you build confidence and you start striking the ball really well.
Out here at Murrysville Golf Club, I played the front 9 with my clubs, played the back 9 with his, at least as far as the approaches go. Here's a 4-iron and a pitching wedge from my set, and you can see how much of a difference that is in terms of length. And what do you have there for us?
I've got a 5 and a 60.
Okay, and I hit your 4 hybrid as well. That's why I brought out the 4. The one big adjustment for me was, but a good adjustment, the shorter clubs. I felt like I could stand up a little bit taller to it, make more of a swing, especially pitching wedge on down. I often feel like I'm not tipping over, but there's not a great balance there. So what have you noticed with the shorter clubs especially? Yeah,
so the shorter clubs especially, a lot of guys, and you and I talked about this a little bit, the biggest hurdle is the mental block. Because where, you know, your 4-iron, you want it up further in your stance, you're further back because it's longer. In essence, your shorter clubs, because they're 7, 8-iron length, now you're hitting like a 7-iron. So now you're a little bit further back, the ball's a little more forward in your stance. But if you can get over that mental block, it's lights out. It's just straight consistency, and you know, really, I hardly ever see the club the problem. It's always the user. But
that's golf.
Yeah, that's golf. But it's great. You know, I wish I could get my hands on a junior set for my daughter. But you know, everybody I talk to, everybody that switches over, like I said, it's a little bit of a mental hurdle the first month or 2 months, but once they kick in, you know, the feedback's amazing.
My big question for you coming out here was, distance-wise, how will it change? I noticed maybe about an extra 5 yards of carry with a pitching wedge with a 9-iron today. How have you noticed your yardage has changed since you switched over?
Yeah, so for me, I made the switch about 4 years ago. And I didn't go straight to Cobra. I bought a test set for a couple $100. With that test set, I noticed a little bit of loss all across the board. But once I switched and got into the Cobra, you know, I think there's a little bit more R&D in there. I didn't really notice any losses, especially at the top end of the bag. And then the lower end of the bag, really, for me, it stayed the same. You know, my 60 degree before I went to one length or single length was 105, 110. It's still that today. So there wasn't much difference for me. Overall, it was more confidence. And, you know, I started it as, I don't know, I didn't even keep my handicap. But breaking 90 was a good day. Now, if I'm over 80, it's usually, you know, something like today, I was spraying drives everywhere, but my irons were on. You know, so the irons have become the best part of my game. You know, single digit handicap over 3 years, just basically switching clubs. I haven't changed much with my swing, it's just the club.
So there you go. You should try it yourself, really. That's what we're trying to get at here. Like you just heard us talk about different results in terms of the distance, but like I said, I love the short irons and the wedges especially. Craig operates out of here, but primarily online, primarily single length school.
Correct.
And that's how you can search it?
Yep, search YouTube, single length school. Facebook and Instagram, you can find us our handles at single length school. On Twitter, you can find us at one length school. So check those out. You can always email me, singlelengthschool@gmail.com. More than happy. Anybody that's interested, I love chatting it. I love introducing people to them, and I like teaching them. So if you're interested, want to try them, have questions, by all means, reach out.
You want to be the next Bryson? It might be a little bit of a stretch, but you can definitely get better with these. That's Craig. I'm Matt. This has been PGN On Course for Game Improvement this week.